and welcome to the Seahawkers podcast from the Podium Game Day Edition, where we take a look back from the press conferences throughout the week and hear from Pete Carroll and some injury updates, hear from defensive coordinator Clint Hurtt, as well as some of the players who we are going to be watching for this week. First of all, before we get into this, thank you to the Mariners for erasing an 8-1 deficit on Saturday. For one, those of us who are watching Seahawks and Mariners, we don't have the added stress of both games on Sunday, and we don't have to make a choice on which game to watch because these games would have been overlapping. And holy smokes, what a comeback victory by the Mariners. But we are here to talk Seahawks, so looking ahead to today's matchup with the Saints, let's start off with defensive coordinator Clint Hurtt's reflections on the defense's performance last Sunday against the Lions.
I would say for 2.5 quarters, there's a lot of good things going. Starting off with the 3 and out, which was awesome to see, try to make a big emphasis going in on starting fast. And obviously we had the sudden change situation to get down there. And obviously the one that was just tough was the explosive after that. So like you get the fast start, then you give up the big one, which is obviously the big deal right now. Giving up, cut back on the explosives and obviously the penalties that we're having. Some of those situations almost become explosives with the penalties that you get, particularly in the back end. But for 2.5 quarters, I felt there was a lot of things going in the right direction, big improvements. And then, again, gave up an explosive in the run game. I think it was a 2nd down and 7 situation. And it felt like an avalanche of things, which is frustrating. But obviously for some young guys, it's things to be able to learn that if a bad play happens, you got to be able to put it past you and move on to the next play so it doesn't turn into an avalanche of issues and things of that nature. So to finish the game better is obviously a big point that we got to continue to get across along with a lot of other things.
It sounds like we could be seeing more safety Ryan Neal figuring into the Seahawks' defensive plans for this game.
You'll see him more and more at the safety spot and the dime. Obviously, he's done that for us in the past. We missed a lot of seeing him, and he kind of fell into the shadows because of the injuries he had to deal with in training camp. But it was great to have him back out there. Again, he had some good stuff and things that he'll continue to get cleaned up leverage-wise and whatnot in coverage. So it was good to have him back out there.
Next up, let's hear from running back Rashad Penny, who won the FedEx Ground Player of the Week this past week. He said the award was a reflection of the offensive line.
I think that's much more their award than mine. I mean, I'm here to run and continue to make plays. And, this is something that I really wanted to do. My career haven't got started to where I really wanted to get started, but I'm grateful and thankful for the position I'm in now to just make a contribution to a team that I feel like can go a very long way with this offense. And, I think it's really only the beginning again. We're finding our marks and finding where we could be as an offense. And, I think really we can take off.
Penny also commented on the Saints' run defense.
I mean, they're just fast flowers. Linebackers love playing aggressive. I think we can get them on a lot of good runs and just staying true to what we do on offense. I mean, I don't think we have to do anything different, but just play football. At the end of the day, it's a game that's on Sunday, and it's just another opponent. So that's all I was looking forward to it, and just excited for another opportunity.
Here were Geno Smith's comments when he was asked if the Saints defense looks any different from when the Seahawks lost to them last year.
I think they have a lot of similarities. Obviously, bringing back a ton of guys, starting with their middle linebacker, Demario, Cam Jordan up front. They got 23 Lattimore in the back end. They got some additions as well with Tyrann Mathieu and Marcus May. A few other guys have signed over as free agents as well as some guys they've drafted. But overall, man, they present the same challenges. Very good on third downs. Presented a lot of tough looks, some things that we have to be ready for and adjust to. And then overall, same mentality as well for them. It's being aggressive. They have an aggressive style of defense. They want to be an attacking defense and put a lot of pressure on the quarterback.
Smith also talked about his performance against New Orleans last season.
I may be a little more comfortable in the offense, but I felt prepared then as well. I think now it's just going to be about welcoming the new challenges and all the different things. I'm pretty sure they'll have some different looks and some things that we're not going to see on tape. That's what I think they do a great job at. So us being ready to adjust and just use our rules, and go with what we know as far as the looks, and then, communication on the sideline, getting to different things.
This year, though, Smith seems to be a different quarterback, as evidenced by having secured the past week's NFC Offensive Player of the Week honors.
Obviously it's, you're honored to receive that award. They donate to a charity of my choice, so that's pretty cool. And really, it's more of a team offensive award. Just speaks volumes to the guys I'm playing around, the entire offense as a whole. The quarterback gets a lot of the attention, obviously, but all the guys play well, and I think all of us, we can accept that together.
Smith said he has some familiarity with one member of the Saints defense, linebacker Demario Davis.
Demario and I were on the Jets together when I got drafted, and he's always been a great run and hit player. He's got a lot of passion. He's the leader of that team, leader of that defense, and he's very smart. He calls the defense. He can get them in and out of any check, any call. You can see that he and the D coordinator, they're locked in with what they're seeing and how they want to play. And so, he's always been a great player, and he's a really good middle linebacker. And we just got to be ready to know where he is and take advantage of opportunities when we have them.
And speaking more on the Saints defense, here's wide receiver DK Metcalf on the impending matchup with cornerback Marcus Lattimore.
I think it's going to be an exciting matchup. He's a good corner. They got a good defense. Their defensive structure is pretty much the same as we seen last week. So looking to see some similar coverages. But it's going to be an exciting game, closer to home for me. So I'm going to have a lot of family at the game. So it's going to be a very exciting time just to be back in the South.
Rather than focusing on the upcoming matchup, though, a lot of the commentary surrounding DK this past week has involved his cart expedition in Detroit.
I don't know how everybody found out about it. That's what I'm so curious about. But no, I'm not surprised about it.
You thought you could get on the back of a cart and sneak out in front of 70,000 people?
At the time, I didn't think about it. I didn't think it was going to be that much attention. But after the game, I can tell that it had too much attention drawn to it. But I'll be sneaking off again if I got to go do number 2. So,
before we get to head coach Pete Carroll, let's hear from our rookie corners about one of the biggest threats on the Saints, running back Alvin Kamara, starting with the thoughts from cornerback Coby Bryant.
He's elite, obviously, that's what makes him a good back, one of the best backs in the league. But, ultimately, we just play our defense, and be who we are and not do anything out of ordinary, and we'll be fine.
And now let's get Tariq Woolen's thoughts on the Saints back.
I remember since I am a rookie, last year I was in college, I remember in college just looking at Saints games, and he was having, explosive runs, but what stuck out the most was a running back that can actually go out there and play receiver or can catch passes and make plays after. So just watching film now and just looking at it, if he is playing the game, you just got to be on the lookout for him, certain run plays or on pass plays just because they like to use him in the pass game. And I know a lot of teams may not have backs they can do that with, but with the Saints, they got a back that can actually do a receiver's job and a running back's job.
Closing this out as we normally do with thoughts from our head coach. Here was his preview of the matchup with the New Orleans Saints.
This preparation, I don't know where you guys are going, but I'm just going to jump into the preparation because of the trip again and going to a great place, big indoor spot again. I'm hoping that last week helped us. We were challenged by the noise and the setting, and hopefully it'll help us out. I don't remember many places that are louder than this place and in my travels, and so hopefully that will help us get ready. We have a lot of respect for this team, the Saints, and we see them really tough on defense and with commitment and to the running game and all the stuff they do on offense. This is a very good challenge for us to see if we can go on the road and get something done. So excited about the opportunity, excited about coming back after last week and seeing if we can put it on the road and do it again.
One other challenge on the Saints offense that we haven't mentioned yet is the versatile Taysom Hill.
Generally, we do it really well. From the preparation part of it doesn't mean the performance part of it's right though. But I know that's really what you're getting at. He is as diverse a player as there is in football, and he can do anything. And he can catch the ball outside. He can catch the ball at tight end. He can block. He can run with the football. He can throw the ball. He's a nice receiver. He's a fantastic athlete, and we have to go in with we have to understand the positions that he plays and respond to him. And we've got a plan to do that. But he really makes it as challenging as you can make it, and as one guy can affect it. And so but fortunately we've seen him before and we prepared for him before and we know who he is. We're not going to get surprised by it. Now we got to go execute. He does all kinds of stuff. I mean, they know what they're doing. They make him threaten every aspect of the positions that he plays, whether it's the quarterback spot or he's the wildcat guy or he's the tight end or the receiver. He does everything that's normally demanded of that position. So he threatens you in every way.
Starting at quarterback for the Saints this week will be Andy Dalton. Carroll was asked if the offense looks much different with Dalton under center compared to Jameis Winston.
They did basically the same stuff. Andy, he's an experienced guy. He got the ball out really well for him in this past game and avoided getting hit. Did a nice job of that. So both these guys have the background to make the plays and call the stuff and put the guys in the right positions and all that. There's no change, I don't think, in their thinking. It didn't appear so in one game.
Let's move on to some injury updates from Friday's press conference.
How's Ken Walker doing?
He did well today. Looked good. He was fine out there. He did everything in practice.
You think he'll play?
I do think he'll play. Yeah.
What about Marquise Goodwin?
He rested today, and we'll make sure on game day that he's okay. But he intends to play, and he's okay. So we'll see.
So they have the end of the game or practice?
Yesterday in practice, he had a little reoccurrence of something that he'd felt earlier a while back, and so we just were real cautious with it, making sure we got it, did all the testing and all that stuff, and he's clear. So.
How did L.J. Collier make it through the week?
He did well. He had a good week, good solid week. Did everything. This is his first week back in 8 weeks. So to me, that that's we're cautious with the guy coming back. Just after 1 week of practice, we don't want to make him vulnerable. But sometimes we go, but we got to make that determination. But he can play. He's ready to go.
And here was the update on cornerback Justin Coleman.
He had a good week, and I watched him real closely the first 2 days this week, and I need to see as we come out of today and see if he's still okay. But he had a good, solid week, and he's ready to battle too. We're getting healthy. We really are getting healthy, and we have to make some tough decisions to figure that out on a number of areas. And so JC's presenting that for us right now, which is good.
Another one of our corners, Artie Burns, is good to go for this week.
Artie's back ready to go too. And then he had, again, we tested him well this week, and he held up against it. And again, we'll see what happens tomorrow and see, if they come out of it okay. Then like I said, all of there's maybe 4 or 5 guys here in that kind of predicament in a sense that we got to figure out. So we've got our plan set.
Some unfortunate news for defensive end Daryl Johnson, though. He is headed to the IR.
Yeah. The clarity is that we need IR him, and so we'll make a move here. You'll see, and it's a little bit fluid because we have so many choices right now. We got to figure out how to do it. John's on it.
And let's wrap this up with some comments from Pete on the Seattle Mariners playoff appearance.
It's so exciting. I think we've been building it up, throughout the offseason and following them and all that. So they kick it off Friday night. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be great. We've been following Aaron Judge too. We've had a ball following him all, through this since about 50, so it's been fun watching him. So as much as the fellas are, I'm not sure the depth of interest, they're having to be interested in it because I keep putting it in front of them all the time. So, but the Mariners thing is going to be really fun. We'll be jacked up for them. They have a great promo going out, talking about their season and expectations and stuff like that. We've been following them, so it's fun to see them come to that point where they can kind of say, okay, here we are, we're real, and we're going for it. They got a great attitude going in. Let's everybody cheer them home. It's going to be fun. What did see us rise? Yeah, awesome.
Love seeing the support for the Mariners this week from Pete Carroll, DK Metcalf rocking one of his Seattle Mariners shirts as well. Looking ahead, though, to the Seahawks injury report, Tariq Young will miss the game with a quadricep injury he sustained in practice. Wide receiver Marquise Goodwin, running back Ken Walker, and cornerback Justin Coleman are all listed as questionable. The Saints have a more extensive report with offensive tackle Calvin Throckmorton, wide receiver Michael Thomas, defensive end Peyton Turner, and cornerback P.J. Williams all listed as out. Quarterback Jameis Winston is doubtful, and the Saints have 4 players listed as questionable: wide receiver Jarvis Landry, running back Alvin Kamara, safety Marcus May, and guard Andrus Peat. So injuries impacting the Saints starting lineup on both sides of the football. We're going to have to see how that plays out, along with returning from their game in England. No bye for them, and that is not something that we've seen in the past. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks to Wilson Conn for helping to produce this episode. Follow him out on Twitter at Wilson_Conn, C-O-N-N. You can follow me out on Twitter at SeahawkersPod. Make sure you're tuning in right after the game. We're going to be going live on YouTube. You can go to youtube.com/SeahawkersPodcast. Click the notification bell. Be sure you're subscribed to the show, and that way you can get notified when we go live. Also send out a notification via getintheflock.com. So if you want to become a member of the flock, head on over there. $3 a month and above will get you into our Discord channel. That way, if you want to chat along through the game, you can do it there. Going to be a good time. Looking forward to seeing you there. And so until then, go Hawks.